We're on now.
We're on?
Yes, Mr.
All
Chairman.
right, thank you. Good afternoon. Today is. All right, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for our monthly Board of Commissions meeting held here at the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority main office in Sinahanya. It is March 12th. The time is 12:05 p.m. And before we start, we will take a roll call. And we will see. Commissioner Izaki will not be joining us. Chairman John Rivera will also be absent from this meeting. I am acting as chairman of the board for this specific meeting today. Okay, Commissioner Delia.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Rice.
Here.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Torres.
Here.
And I believe Commissioner Corpus will be joining us shortly. We have more than enough for a quorum. Thank you again, commissioners. All right, second agenda would be our board meeting public announcements, which you can find in your packets, which were printed on the 5th of March, 2024. And the second printing was on the 10th of March, 2024. And that's fine. You got that? Thanks to the team again for our monthly public prints and announcements. All right, and moving on to item number 3, approval of previous board minutes for the 13th of February, 2024. All right, commissioners, if you have any questions, and if you would like to add or make any corrections to our previous board meeting, board minutes. Also, for the record, Commissioner Corpus has officially joined us. Thank you, Commissioner. We can see you.
Thank you, sir. I apologize for the tardiness.
Not at all. Good to see you. Thank you.
I didn't see any corrections on my part.
Thank you, commissioners. Okay, so we don't see anything that needs to be addressed and or corrected. May I get a motion on the floor to approve the previous board minutes?
Make the motion to approve the minutes of February 15th, 2024.
Thank you, Commissioner Torres.
I'll second that.
Thank you, commissioners. All right, motion passes. Previous board minutes. Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 4, new business. This is a bittersweet announcement. So I also want to point out that this is going to be resolution number FY 2024-010. Resolution commending Mr. Robert B. Darlow, building inspector, housing inspector, for his dedication and contributions to the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority. And this would be a moment where we take and recognize Robert for his contributions and his years of service. And as on behalf of all the board, we want to say thank you for everything that you've done. And we're going to be quite saddened that you're leaving us soon. But, you know, but you're not, but it's okay. But we have Acting Director Fernando Esteves, if you want to add anything to this resolution.
Well, thank you. Before I read the resolution, a commendation for Mr. Robert B. Darlow for his years of service here supporting the agency and our mission, particularly with the Section 8 program. I'd like to defer to the division manager, Ms. Norma San Nicholas, for some words for Robert before we do the official and formal portion.
Okay, well, I'd like to thank Robert. He really did a lot for the agency, and because the goal of the Section 8 program is to provide safe, decent, and sanitary housing. He just doesn't realize it, but his job was really critical in this, and he did an outstanding job through the last 10 years that he's been with us. And thank you, Robert.
With that, Mr. Chairman, if I could go ahead and read the resolution.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Resolution number FY 2024-010. Resolution commending Mr. Robert B. Darlow, Building Inspector, Housing Inspector, for his dedication and contribution to the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority, GHURA. Whereas, on December 13, 2011, Mr. Robert B. Darlow began his GHURA career as a temporary clerk 1 in the Section 8 division. And whereas on March 2012, Mr. Darlow was selected to fill the temporary building inspector position with the Section 8 division. And whereas Mr. Darlow subsequently competed and was selected for the classified building inspector position on October 19, 2015. And whereas in total, Mr. Darlow dedicated over 12 years of service in support of the mission and goals of the authority. And whereas his efforts in the Section 8 division had a direct and positive impact to our Guam community during his tenure. And whereas the Board of Commissioners extends its recognition and gratitude to Mr. Robert B. Darlow, commending him on his retirement from the authority effective March 22, 2024, and further extends its best wishes on his future endeavors relocating to California. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the chairman of the Board of Commissioners shall certify and the executive director attest the adoption hereof resolution number FY 2024-010, and that thereafter shall be presented to Mr. Robert B. Darlow, whereby a copy shall be placed in his official personnel file and a copy provided to the governor of Guam.
Thank you, Acting Director. Appreciate that. Anyone else would like the floor?
Nope. Congratulations. I hope everything goes well in the future in California.
Well, I hope so.
Congratulations on your new adventure in life, and sunny skies and nice beaches where you're going.
Well, that's right now, there's under snow.
So, with that, I know that, under a different context, you and I met years ago, and I just hope you know that my friendship with you has always been an amazing one. And thank you for everything that you've contributed towards not just GHURA, but morally to your colleagues, your coworkers, and serving different directors, deputy directors throughout your career, and always focusing on what matters, which would, above all, our clients, and working the long hours and taking on more than you should have. We appreciate that, and it has not and will never not go unrecognized. Thank you, Rob. So, with that being said, I believe we have something that we want to present to you on behalf of the executive staff and the Board of Commissioners here for everything you've done. Yeah. Mr. Director?
Yes.
Ms. Dharma?
On behalf of the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority, thank you, Robert. Congratulations on your retirement, and we wish you well. Thank you for your service. There you go. Can I get a round of applause?
One, two, three. Norma, can you just go to right there? Okay, closer. Okay, very good. One, two, three, and one more. Blessings.
Thank you. Congratulations again.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations, good luck.
All right, don't go. We got one final portion. Address the, got a vote.
We got to stamp and approve this for you.
Make it official.
I'll go ahead and gladly read this up. All right, proudly, may I get a motion on the floor to approve resolution number FY 2024-010.
I will make a motion to approve resolution number FY 2024-010. It's the resolution commending Mr. Robert B. Darlow, building inspector for our housing inspector, for his dedication and contributions to the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority. Congratulations.
I'll second that.
Thank you, commissioners. Congratulations, Robert. You are approved and your retirement is set to go. Oh,
Yeah.
may I get, excuse me, may I get show of votes, please? That's 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Motion passes. Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert, again.
Thank you, Ms. Dharma.
Congratulations, Robert.
Oh,
Have a good one, man.
All right.
minute.
Sorry.
Just missed it by 2
Missed
minutes.
the picture.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Number 2, item 4, intent of award IFB GHURA-24-003 insurance coverages for excess liability, automobile, and workers' compensation.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, Board of Commissioners. This memorandum is intent to award IFB invitation for bid number GHURA-24-003, which is insurance coverages for excess liability, automobile, and workmen's compensation. The bid opening for the subject project was held on February 6, 2024 at 2 p.m. A total of 2 bidders registered for the bid and given bid specifications, of which 2 submitted a bid. Listed below are the results of the bid submissions, which were open and read out loud publicly. First one is AM Insurance, which provided a response of excess liability cost of $11,094.54, automobile coverage of $40,724.29, and workmen's compensation insurance to the tune of $86,705.85. Bid bond was secured, and the total cost for a 1-year contract is $138,524.68. The second qualified and responsible bidder was Great National Insurance Underwriters Incorporated, who provided no quote for excess liability insurance. Sorry, my apologies. Only one was responsive, fully responsive. Great National Insurance Underwriters Incorporated provided no quote for excessive liability insurance costs, automobile costs to the tune of $60,373.10 without typhoon insurance, and a comparable $67,607.10 with typhoon insurance. Workmen's compensation insurance cost $132,942. Bid bond was provided. Total cost for 1 year would have been $193,942. The total cost is based on factoring the lowest cost of the automobile insurance without typhoon. The government estimate for this project was $163,152. And so AM Insurance was the successful bidder. In review of the bid results, AM Insurance provided the lowest responsive and responsible bid. After further clarification, the committee members determined to proceed with the award. Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority has about 121 employees, and in addition to the workman's compensation and automobile insurance, we are seeking insurance coverages for excess liability. Excess liability insurance is important in the event of the loss of automobile or workman's compensation exceeds the limits of the primary policy. Attached in your packet is the those who signed and attended the bid opening, as well as the tabulation for the bid once we did the opening. Subject to your questions.
Thank you, Director.
So do we only renew this type of insurance on a year-to-year basis?
Correct. Yeah, and unfortunately, because the rates fluctuate, they won't provide further than 1 year. So
Right,
we have to go through this every year.
Okay,
because underwriting guidelines, they change periodically, and they do change annually, especially those insurance carriers that provide obligatory insurance, which would be auto.
Yeah, and they're all different, so they all have rate fluctuations.
Right. So insurance basically just measures risk, and those fluctuate every year, depending on specifically with what specific industry you work with and who or what you're insuring. Yeah. Thank you for that. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
no question for me.
So AM, Director?
Yes, AM was determined to be the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. And our recommendation is to approve the award.
Okay, perfect. All right, Commissioners, if you don't have any questions for the Director, I'm going to move to make a motion on this.
Make a motion to,
Or excuse me, I'll make the motion.
you're gonna make the
Yes,
motion?
Yeah. Also, before I go any further, can we, Commissioner Corpus, can you hear us?
He's on mute.
Okay, I just want to make sure he can hear us.
Yes, I can hear you clearly, sir.
Thank you,
I
Commissioner.
have no
Just make-
question.
Did you have any questions in regards to this?
No, sir. I don't have any questions concerning that. The bid went out for A and B, and then Great National. Was there others?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you,
I'm good.
Commissioner. Okay, if there's no other questions, thank you. Can I get a motion on the floor? Now we can go, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. I'll make a motion to, award? Approve.
Yeah.
The IFB for GHURA 24-003, insurance coverages for excess liability, automobile and workers' compensation
To AM
to
Insurance.
AM Insurance.
Yes, sir, in the amount of,
In the amount of $138,524.68
yes, sir.
for 1 year.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate that. May I get a second, please?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Commissioner. And let's get a show of hands on this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. Vote passes. Motion is approved. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. All right, moving along to item number 5, Executive Director's Report. We have 1 project updates and number 2 division updates. Mr. Director.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. members of the board, we're gonna go, we don't have any project updates at this time. We'll go ahead and save it. We do want to move on to division updates, and this time around, it's gonna be public housing. We know we tabled this last meeting, because we had other business to attend to. Representing the AMPS and public housing today is one of our AMP manager, Mr. Patrick Bamba from AMP3, who's gonna be presenting, to you. Okay, so with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to him, and you should have in your packets in there information and slides. And Audrey, were you gonna put that up on the screen as well? Thank you very much. And I will go ahead and turn it over. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, Director Esteves. And Board of Commissioners, thank you for allowing me the time to make our presentation. So, public housing. Let's, I noticed a lot of you have not been here since our last public housing presentation, so welcome. And I hope this gives you a lot of insight on what we're all about. We'll start with first slide, fundamentals of Guam's public housing program. We are 100% federally funded through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, administered locally by GHURA. We're the landlords, respectively. Also, we have 750 public housing units of all sorts and sizes, from 1 bedroom to 6 bedroom. I think we only have 1 6-bedroom, but located in sporadic locations all over the island. Developments are managed and operated by at 4 asset management properties or AMPs. Objective is to assist low income families that are below 80% of the area median income. Tenant families pay a portion of their rent based on their income, while HUD subsidizes the difference. We call this the 30%, basically 30% of their income, adjusted income. Admissions and continued occupancy policy, the ACOP, is public housing's written statement of policies used to carry out the housing program in accordance with federal laws and regulation and HUD requirements. This is basically our Bible. Yes.
Yes.
The objective of the program: provide housing that is safe, habitable, functionally adequate, operable, and free of health and safety hazards in compliance with national standards for physical inspection of real estate. Inspection standards, INSPIRE, is what they call it, for very low to low income families. Our locations, next slide, sorry. I guess I better call out next slide. Thanks, Audrey. So AMP1, our AMP office is located in Toto, or they refer to as the Toto Gardens. AMP2 is located in Jotnia. AMP3 in Hagat, or Agat, as it was formerly known as, and AMP4 is also in Toto. And their site locations, these are where the housing locations are. AMP1 is in Agani Heights, Assen, Mangmang, and Sinanya, just across the street here. Yeah, in Arahan, AMP2 is in Arahan, Talafofo, and Jotnia. AMP3, Agat, Yamatic, and Maleso, or Marito. And AMP4 is Dedido and Toto. Next slide. So the breakdown of the bedroom size, bedrooms, or the unit sizes based on bedrooms. Like I said, there's a total of 750, and AMP1, we'll start with AMP1, has 158 units, and it's broken down into various sizes from 1 bedroom to 5 bedroom. AMP2 has 163 units, and they have 8 elderly, which are also 1 bedroom, and then they have all the way up to 6 bedrooms, or at least 1 6-bedroom unit. AMP4 has 41 elderly units, and AMP3, I'm sorry, there's 41 elderly units or 1 bedrooms, and up to 5 bedrooms. And AMP4 has 33 elderly units, but I don't know why it says 39 there. Anyway, I'm assuming they have other 1-bedroom units. And then all the way up to 5 bedrooms as well, for a total of 234 units there. I think I forgot to mention that, or failed to mention that AMP3, my AMP has 195. And then next slide. And then we have it broken down by project name and how many units per project if you refer to the chart. And then I don't think we need to go over everything, every single thing. But if you ever hear like GHURA 99, that refers to the 99 units in Pagacho Agate, basically. Yeah, yeah, these are all named by how many units were built at the time.
Right.
And they may be in scattered areas. So
Along the island.
yes. And next slide. Okay, here we get into the grading from HUD, really, our performance. HUD uses the Public Housing Assessment System, or FAS, to measure the performance of public housing, of the Public Housing Authority, or PHA. GHURA is a PHA, or Public Housing Program, and Public Housing Program, sorry. FAS is developed by HUD to evaluate the physical condition of units, development, financial operations, management operations, and cap fund program, such as occupancy, receivables, and payables. HUD assigns a PHA designation based upon the overall FAS score: high performer, standard, substandard, and trouble. So GHURA has been a standard and substandard in the last ratings. Did I say that right? High standard?
Yeah,
High
yes.
performer? Yes. Yeah, we always try to strive for it, but you know,
You
there's.
said substandard.
I'm
You
sorry,
said
not
standard and substandard.
not substandard. We are never
Yeah.
substandard. We are actually the model for the country, actually, from what I
High
understand.
performer and
We are,
standard.
that's actually,
High performer. and
Yeah, we're a
standard.
high performer and standard performer. I apologize, and I apologize. I also apologize to my fellow PSMs that are watching.
You should double
Yeah.
underscore that.
My phone is over there, so I don't feel your text messages, guys. But I apologize to them. Okay, and then there's the breakdown of the scoring on the next slide. So physical condition, or pass, is scored at 40 points. So total FAS score is, high score is 100 points, and then they break it down into physical condition, financial condition, management operations, and cap fund. And the breakdowns are there: 40 for physical, financials 25, management is 25 as well, and 10 for cap fund. So you see where the physical is where the concentration usually is at. And we, so our annual inspections are very important to us, and we take pride in our passing those inspections. Next slide. Okay, now our waiting list. As you can see, AMP1 is sought after. Yeah, they have the people waiting on those lists, and if you can imagine, because those are the central units. Then AMP2 and AMP3, not so much, unless you're, you know, from there, or you want to live in Talafofu or Agate. But you know, it is what it is. And then AMP4 is Dedido and Totu as well, and they have also a large waiting list.
Just highly
Next.
populated areas.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So the most sought after are 2 bedrooms.
Yeah.
yes.
Right.
Next slide, please. And then we have a breakdown of our resident demographics. Yeah, I mean, it's fairly self-explanatory. Okay, next slide, please. What can we learn from the current statistics? Applicants. 1,256 families are on our waiting list for housing assistance. With only 715 housing stock available, families will be left on the waiting list for some time before they are called for an available unit. And that wait could be from 2 months to 2 years in many cases. GHURA's tenants, GHURA is currently assisting 3,068 individual members with public housing assistance. 3,068 represent less than 1% of Guam's total population. I don't know when this was, in January. There is a need to increase the public housing stock availability. There's a need to increase affordable housing opportunities. Next slide. And then this is a breakdown of well, it's a snapshot of a 3-month or a quarter occupancy and unit turnaround as far as maintenance turnaround. And the most recent month on this report was December. We produced this yeah, we produced this quarter. Yes. If you see on where it says physical assessment subsystem pass, that's our these are our physical scores from the HUD inspections when they came out to do our last REACT inspection. That's a predecessor of the Inspire program.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
Sure.
Which one did you ask us to look at?
Number 1, section 1 there, physical assessment subsystem.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the scores for the different apps.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that represents the 40%. I mean, 40-point score in the FAS
Model.
yes. And then on our next slide, please. And then these are our accounts receivable, our TAR, our tenant accounts receivable for the last quarter. And
Pretty decent numbers.
yes. Next slide, please. And then this is the contact information for the different managers and apps. And that concludes our presentation. We can answer some questions if you have any questions.
Thank you, Pat. This is actually a pretty cool graph here. The report gives the layman the frame of reference that they look for. Putting it together. Appreciate that.
It was a team effort.
And your team.
Yes. Actually, the PSM got together.
Got together.
Yes.
Compiled all the information.
Mhm.
So if I may add, Mr. Chairman, and to the board, so the quarterly board report is available. They keep that updated. So if at any time you want a snapshot on how public housing is doing,
Sure.
that's available to you. We can send that to you. There's also the public housing dashboard that's on HUD's dashboard. You could just select Guam GQ 001, I believe, right? Yeah. They are also one for Section 8 as well. So it's just ways for not just you as at least the dashboard is not just a way for the board to see, but also for the public to see how we're performing. And you could what we do is as Patrick has mentioned, right, how we've been a high performer at certain points, is we can compare ourselves to other jurisdictions in the nation. And so that's one way we often look at it too, when we kind of see where we're doing, right? We look at ourselves compared to the region as well as nationally.
Absolutely. I'm glad we have bragging rights. Appreciate that. Commissioner Schwartz?
Yeah, I was just wondering that, can we get maps of where, you know, a general idea of where,
Where's
is
it?
it all over the island?
Mhm.
Right? Where are they, where are these, you know?
Specific
AMPs?
locations.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
do
that's
have,
one of the-
we do have maps available. I can make sure that Audrey gets them and
Yeah,
we can
we'll push
email
it
them
out.
out to the.
Yeah.
So, and I noticed it, like, you know, like, you gotta know I'm a GIS guy. Right?
Yeah.
You know, I was bound to ask that question.
Sure.
And so I noticed you have like under maintenance, there's some, you know, some undergoing maintenance.
Mhm.
They're constantly under
Right,
maintenance,
right,
yes.
Of course. Yeah, so they're not yet ready for.
Well, there's two categories for maintenance. There's those that are under modernization, and HUD actually grants a window. It's called the adjusted score. So if they're unoccupied, they'll consider them, but there's a time limit. Was it 6 months? 5 months?
Yes, and a lot of times that as we're going through renovations, the unit will sit for at least 30 days for the tenant to, or for the team to get to it. But we're working on different strategies to
Yes.
alleviate the downtime, because downtime is another factor in all of this. But
Correct.
you know, it's familiar with.
Downtime versus waiting.
Yes.
Waiting.
Yeah, we want to be able to turn the units over
Mhm.
quick, but as we've mentioned before, right, it's the maintenance folks, it's kind of a surprise on what they end up with once the tenant leaves, especially in situations where they abandon the unit.
Right.
Because that's just a heavy workload, right? So what could have been a quick turnaround, if they have to move everything out of the unit physically, hold it for a period of time in case they try to come back and claim it, which they're allowed to do. Then they got to do the disposal of it on top of it and now have to renovate the unit. It's so we're looking at alternative methods to include you know, maybe commercial sector, private sector support on those instances. So we're still analyzing the cost benefit to that.
Like storage for the.
Storage, or maybe just the service to
Service
move it
itself.
out, so our maintenance guys can focus on the maintenance aspect of it, right? And then their main priority in what we've been looking at, and this has been across the AMSA, is one, really fully executing the preventative maintenance plan. That way we, you know, increase and maintain the life cycle of the units, and we don't get backlogged in terms of deferred maintenance. And then as well as making sure that we always have staff available to respond and close out the work orders quickly, especially the 24-hour ones, the HQ or HQS, the Inspire work orders.
So time is paramount.
Time is paramount, and
Yeah.
that time's what we don't have, but also we want to make sure we can turn the unit over quickly. As I've briefed to all of the PSMs, we do the community no service by having the units sit empty. Right, and it also affects us in terms of the funds that we receive for the operation. So occupancy is under the mask is definitely something that we don't want. We don't want, sorry, vacancy under the mask is what we don't want.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that like a question, Mr. Chairman? Chairman, how long before these 750 units that we have and stuff, I mean, they're gonna expire or be condemned at so many years? We have some over 25, as I understand it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And what, do we have any plans in the works for turning these over to the home programs or to build more units?
Well, there's a couple of different options on the table, but what we maintain is we do a constant physical needs assessment. And so with proper maintenance, they can last far long beyond the life cycle. So we're not quite there yet to have to plan to take units offline, but we do have a desire to shift some units and, you know, take them off the inventory and then build new. So we're monitoring that.
Yeah. That's all I know. Cool.
Thank you, Commissioner Corpus. Commissioner Torres, you have a
Yeah, I
question?
was just gonna say, so I think you guys, you have like a schedule probably for inspections, without going being too intrusive on the, you know, the people that are renting.
Mhm.
Right, you know what I mean? Just to make sure they're not, the unit's not going to grain.
So annually,
Yes,
annually, when we renew their leases, there is an inspection.
yes.
Yes, and then we go in and we take a look at every little system, whether it be electrical or plumbing or whatever. These are simple inspections where we eyeball these things unless there is a problem and they report the problem. So
Yes.
let's say you have a GFCI outlet that's dead, right?
Yeah.
That's a 24-hour turnaround. We have to fix that in 24 hours. But and we ask them, please report these things. We'll get them done. But if they neglect something like a cracked window, for instance,
Yep.
and don't tell us about it, then we have an issue because we want to ensure the safety of everybody, the glass first of all, and then the security aspect of it. Also, then if for some reason we have to go in and when we do the annual inspections for REACT or Inspire, we have to notify them that we are gonna come in and
Yes.
do a clean sweep. What we do is we just go through and do a systems check in every single unit.
Right.
So, but we have to notify them 24 hours in advance that we are gonna enter the unit. And they can be in the unit while we're there.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is an annual thing, and as we have our lease signing, we inform them that this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
We are gonna come into your
Yes.
unit and we're gonna make sure everything's working before the feds come in and inspect.
Yeah, it's a higher standard than Section 8, which I think
Yes.
the most they can go is 24 hours on the re-examinations. Those are private landowners.
Sure.
The stakes are higher because we're government, we're the landlords.
Yeah.
But you know, unfortunately, there are instances, right? A year can also be a long time and a lot can happen.
Right.
And sometimes, especially with work order issues, we won't know because they won't report it, particularly because they don't want us to come to the unit. And so, you know, they have a tall order trying to manage all of these, right, and try to maintain. But unfortunately, it could lead to situations, and usually it's kind of a ramp up, right, where maybe it's one work order because they don't want anyone there,
Yeah.
then two, then three that would normally have been fixed, and then when it comes time, they may abandon the unit. So now you have a unit that's completely abandoned,
Right.
and there's all this deferred maintenance that just hadn't been done, and those happen actually. I think every app has experienced that and experiences it a couple times a year, and so it does take up a lot of time, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was actually alluding to that. That's a very good point that, you brought up. In addition to, systematically and symbiotically that we're going about, having everything processed, but we're also dealing with tenants that we have to work with as well. And that clearly can cause delays as
Yeah.
the whole process. So again, that's a great question, Commissioner Torres. But Pat, and to all the other site managers, considering where we stand and how we've progressed positively, and it's a clear indication and a reflection of your team in its entirety, what you guys have been able to do and accomplish. So thank you and your colleagues for that.
You're welcome.
If I could add to that, I've been living in housing now, 6+ years. The maintenance is spot on. Every time there's a problem, they're right there. It's not just because I'm a board member. It's I can see them. There's the neighbor's house, they got a problem, they're there. They're fixing things left and right. I really want to commend them for doing a stand-up job. And it is. It's just very difficult sometimes what they have to do. But they come through each and every time. Just wanted to add that to them.
That means a lot. It's very appreciative to have that perspective, and something to keep in mind too. And you might appreciate this, Mr. Commissioner Corpus, that Inspire is going to involve, in terms of the scoring, to include resident feedback.
Oh, nice.
And that's something that HUD's been looking at, and I think they're still really trying to figure out is how do they test that and apply a measurement to that for the scoring. But they did indicate in the Inspire workshops and training that we did that's definitely the direction that they were going. And we fully welcome that. We want to know and hear right? Because we don't exist, we're not here, we don't have a job without the client, right? So that's why we do want to hear that feedback. And so we do appreciate the positive feedback, and we want to definitely maintain that standard.
Yeah, and at least for the amount of time that the tenant or the resident has been living in the unit, they know that unit better than we do.
Yep.
Right.
So any little thing that they can let us know. Sometimes, I mean, we'll walk in and we'll do an inspection and light switch is working, but he's like, it doesn't work half the time. And we're not there to figure it out.
Half the
Yeah.
time. Right, yeah. Thank you, Patrick, appreciate that presentation.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Commissioners, would you like to, is there anything else you would like to ask Mr. Patrick or our director?
Good.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have one little thing to ask. In the housing where I'm living at 035, we are starved for lighting at night. It's very dark in our area. I'm not sure what the other places are experiencing. If we can get lighting in there for, street lights or solar panel lights or something, I think it would help with the security of the place, for the, well-being. There's a lot of families in there, and there's unfortunately predators that just go around looking for things.
Absolutely, absolutely, Mr. Commissioner. If it's one of our streetlights, we can get that turn. I believe we can get that turnaround pretty quick. If we first will identify, because we do have a markings, depending on the site base, some of the streetlights belong to GPA and some belong to us. However, we have a good working relationship with GPA, and once that's reported up, then we're able to get that resolved pretty quick. And we do have funding available to get that up. So we'll look into that. And you mentioned it was GHURA 35? Is that 35?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, GHURA 35. Okay, got you.
Your site manager is actually on the Zoom right now, so she's
Probably already on
on
it.
it.
And again, then just make it for the records clear, right? It's not because you're a commissioner. We get fielded calls too, for various reasons regarding public housing. We take them however they come. Generally they go via work order, they go to the app manager, but however the comments, concerns, or requests come in, we take them. So people come walk in, people come see the executive director or myself, people call other people in the agency, however those complaints come in, they come in, we follow up and we address them. Or we communicate and then, explain and what is going on and what process is taking place.
Thank you, Commissioner Corpus. Would you like anything else you want to add to that? Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you, Patrick, for addressing, and thank you, Director, for addressing, Commissioner.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Oh, did you?
Oh, no, so we're just, looking for the maps and
Yes,
how they relate to the
Yes.
listing, right?
Yeah, they're actually listed as those names. For
Yeah.
instance, like GHURA 99, you'll see where the location is based on the site map.
But
We also have locations on our website. So if you go to, let's say you go to M3 on the website, there's actually Google Maps and it has little
show you the areas.
pins in the areas.
I've seen it. It's actually,
But we can get you the good
Yeah.
stuff.
that's the stuff you're really into.
Yeah.
It's there. It's absolutely there.
And we do have a GIS overlay.
Yes. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Patrick. And that concludes our Executive Director's report.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to item number 6. General discussion and announcements. Our next proposed scheduled board meeting will be Tuesday, March 26, 2024. Mark it in your calendars.
And if I may,
Yes.
and it should be a short one as well. We apologize, we do have to have another board meeting, but there are some critical things that we're not ready for this meeting, but we do need to get out. One being a drainage correction, which is very grant dependent. There's a timeline on that. And we want to make sure that we get that award out so we can start the protest timeline and all of that. Or, start the clock where people have the opportunity to protest,
Right,
if they do, that we provide everyone.
Okay.
absolutely. Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
All right, if there's nothing else to be shared and or discussed, may I get a motion to item number 7 for the adjournment?
I will make a motion to adjourn our meeting for today.
Thank you. May I get a second?
I'll second that.
All right, may I take the vote? Show of hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you. And motion passes, and that concludes our regular scheduled Board of Commissions meeting.
Thank
Thank you, ladies and
Thank
gentlemen. Have a great
you.
week. And we'll get you tomorrow.
Viva.
Yes. I forgot to motion.
Oh, do you know you mean?